Morning, friends. In the continuation of previous topic about the year, we are going to continue today for the middle year. As the middle year is little bit tough topic to understand. So first of all, we are going to talk about the introduction and boundaries in today's lecture, and then afterwards we are going to talk about the other parts of the middle year. Let's start the topic. The middle ear is actually an air-filled mucous membrane-lined space in the temporal bone between the tympanic membrane lateral and lateral wall of the internal ear medially. It is described as consisting of mostly two parts. One is tympanic cavity, and other one is epitympanic recess. The tympanic cavity is the part which is just adjacent to the tympanic membrane. Whatever part is just adjacent to it, it will be called tympanic cavity, and the part above to tympanic membrane will be called the epitympanum. In certain books, this tympanic cavity is also divided into two parts. The part which is directly adjacent, it is mesotympanum. The part below to the tympanic membrane will be the hypotympanum. So this is the diagrammatic representation. You can see there is eardrum. Then there are ear ossicles, malus, incus, and stapes, which are connecting it to the oval window of the internal ear. And this whole space is called tympanic cavity, which is having some openings through the eustachian tube and through the editors. Editors, you can see this side, that is to the air cells or mastoid part. So this middle ear can be understood easily if you are going to correlate it with a box having 6 boundaries, or you can understand it taking a matchbox having 6 boundaries. So first of all, you have to think about a room or a box, then only we can talk about the boundaries of it. So what are the things to remember in boundaries? So first of all, how the boundaries made, what are the relations about it, and if there is some specific bulging or foramen, then what are the contents. So medial ear communicates with the mastoid area from the posterior side and nasopharynx via pharyngotympanic tube on the anterior side. Its basic function is to transmit vibrations of the tympanic membrane across the cavity of middle ear to the internal ear. So basic function is to transport the vibration or the sound wave from the external ear to the medial ear, especially the cochlear part of the internal ear. It accomplishes this process through the 3 interconnected but movable bones bridge the spaces between the tympanic membrane and internal ear. The names of these bones are malus, incus, and stapes, which are going to get connected from the tympanic side towards to the oval window side of the medial ear. Here you can see a better representation. So this is tympanic membrane. Here it is handle of malleolus which is connected. Then this is head of malleolus, incus, stapes, and the foot of stapes is connected with the oval window. So this is how the sound is transferred from external side to the internal side, and then there is a cavity. This cavity is connected with the pharyngotympanic tube on the anterior side. On the posterior side, it is connected with the air cells or mastoid region, which is presented internally. You can see a big snake-like organ is there, which is having the semicircular canal and the cochlea or the round scales like thing. Cochlea and semicircular canals, which are two basic organs for hearing plus balancing. So how to understand boundaries? So you can imagine a box or a classroom which has a roof, a floor, an anterior wall, a posterior wall, a medial wall, and a lateral wall. Then, first of all, the roof, the tegmental wall. The tegmental wall of middle ear consists of thin layer of bone which separates the middle ear from the medial cranial fossa. So the separating thing is a bone which is thin. This layer of bone is actually tegment tympani. That's why the name tegmental is there, of anterior surface of petrous part of the temporal bone. So always remember the bony thing which is present in proximity to the medial layer is temporal bone only, and especially here it is the petrous part of temporal bone. You see the diagram, this upper one. This is the tegmental wall, nothing extra is there, no foramen and nothing is present. So it is easy to remember the tegment tympani is going to form the roof of the middle ear cavity. Next one is jugular wall or floor. It is consists of a thin layer of bone that separates it from internal jugular vein. So again, there is a bone. If it is a bone, then it is a basically temporal bone only, and the organ which it separates will be the internal jugular. So below the floor, there will be internal jugular vein is going to be found. Occasionally, the floor is thickened by the presence of some mastoid hair cells also. Near the medial border of the floor, there is a small aperture of foramen through which tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve, that is cranial nerve number 9, is going to enter in the middle ear. So here you have to remember two things. First of all, on the lower side of floor, there is internal jugular vein, and then on the medial border of floor, there is a small foramen through which the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve is going to enter in the middle ear and going to form the tympanic plexus. You see a diagram now here. This is floor, this part is floor. Below to it, there is internal jugular vein. You can identify internal jugular vein. And then there is a foramen in the near to the medial wall. This wall is medial wall. So is tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve is coming out from there, and it is going to form the tympanic plexus on the medial wall actually. Next one is lateral wall or membranous wall. Membranous wall of medial ear consists mostly of tympanic membrane only, but tympanic membrane does not exist most to the superior part. So whatever is the part of lateral wall in the epitympanic recess will be found by the bony lateral wall. Okay, so basically it is tympanic membrane only which is present on the lateral wall, but the upper side of it are completed by the bony lateral wall of epitympanic recess. You can see it here. This is tympanic membrane. The other part, this part is epitympanic recess, which is completed by the bony part. So this whole boundary will be made or called as lateral wall typically. So the tympanic membrane and the bony part in the epitympanic recess. Next one is posterior wall or mastoid wall. It is incomplete wall or only partially completed. The lower portion of this wall consists of a bony partition between the tympanic cavity and mastoid hair. The posterior wall on the lower side is having a wall of bone between the tympanic cavity and hair cell, but on the superior side, that is again in tympanic recess, it is continuous with the adductus to mastoid antrum. Adductus to mastoid antrum means a pathway is there to get connected with the mastoid antrum. Mastoid antrum is the part behind the bones on the posterior side. Next, there are two special characters are also present on the posterior side. Number one is pyramidal eminence, which is a small elevation through which the tendon of stapes muscle is going to enter the middle ear. The first one is pyramidal eminence, through which the stapes muscle is going to enter. This is one of the smallest muscle of the body related with stapes bone. Second thing is again there is an opening for coda tympani. Coda tympani is what? It is the branch of facial nerve, 7th facial nerve, which enters in the middle ear through this wall. So first of all, posterior wall is incomplete. On the lower side, it is bony. On the upper side, it has pathway for the mastoid antrum. Two structures are there: pyramidal eminence and a foramen for coda tympani. So here you can see this is a diagrammatic representation. You can see this is posterior wall. It is adductus to mastoid antrum. Then you can see pyramidal eminence for stapes muscle. Then the rest of the part is found by the bony structure. Okay, so these are the characteristics of posterior wall. Next one is anterior wall. Anterior wall is again incomplete wall. The lower portion of it contains thin layer of bone which separates the tympanic cavity from internal carotid artery. So beyond this boundary, there will be internal carotid artery will be present. On the superior side, it is again deficient due to the presence of a large opening for the entrance of pharyngotympanic tube, also called as Eustachian tube, into the middle ear. The pharyngotympanic tube is a connecting link between the middle ear and the nasopharynx. Okay, remember it. So this opens in the anterior wall of the middle ear. Again, there are more characteristic features are there. There is a small opening for a canal containing the tensor tympani muscle on the anterior wall only, and there is a foramen for the exit of coda tympani. Remember in previous slide, in posterior wall, we have talked about the entry point of coda tympani, but the exit point is present on the anterior wall. Okay, so this wall is anterior wall, Again, it is partially completed. Lower part is completed with the bone, which separates it from the carotid artery. On the superior side, it is deficient due to the large opening present for the entrance of pharyngotympanic tube. Then again, there is the opening for tensor tympani muscle, and a small foramen is for exit of cauda tympani nerve also. These are the both the things you can see: a canal for tensor tympani muscle and also a pharyngotympanic bone. Then there is a thin bone is present. After that thin bone, there is internal carotid artery can be seen. Okay. Same diagram is here also. Next one is the most important wall, that is labyrinth wall or medial wall. Labyrinth wall of the middle ear can also be called as the lateral wall of internal ear. Because this is a boundary, so it is considered in both the places. Now, what are the most characteristic feature of this wall? That there is the presence of rounded bulge. A rounded bulge is there, which is produced by the basal coil of cochlea, which is present on internal ear just beyond the medial wall, and which is also said to be the organ of hearing. So due to presence of that coiling, the force is exerted, pressure is exerted on medial wall, and that force which exerted on medial wall produces a bulge, and that bulge is called the promontory. Now, on that promontory, it is covered by mucous membrane of middle ear first of all, and secondly, there is a presence of plexus of nerve. Here it is called tympanic plexus. Tympanic plexus is formed by the contribution from the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve, as we have seen previously slide, and there are some branches from the internal carotid plexus also. So, जो promontory है उसी पे we are going to get the tympanic plexus also. Additionally, we can also understand there is a branch of tympanic plexus known as lesser petrosal nerve is going to leave the promontory, that is bulge part, and the middle ear also, traveling to the anterior surface of petrous part of temporal bone and leaving it through the foramen ovale to enter the optic ganglion. You can see the structures. We will talk about this diagram again after some time. What are the rest features which are present on the middle wall? There are certain windows and bulging are more. So other structures which are related are number one, oval window. It is present posterior superiorly to the promontory. So first you have to identify the bulge. Above and posterior side of bulge there is oval window, which is point of attachment for base of stapes. वहीं पे क्या होगा? Stapes का foot plate जुड़ेगा, and so the conduction will be completed of vibrations which were initiated by tympanic membrane of cochlea. Then there is round window. Round window is posterior inferior to the promontory. ये उसके नीचे होगा. Again, on the posterior and superior side of oval window, there is a prominence. Prominence is present due to facial canal, which is a ridge of the bone produced by facial nerve. So there is transfer of facial nerve is going to happen on the medial wall only, and due to that there is a prominency will be felt. Again, on the most superior part to it, it is prominence of facial canal. There is prominence of lateral semicircular canal also, which is produced by the, again, pressure pulling on the ball due to lateral semicircular canal, which is present as an organ of balancing in the internal ear. Now we are going to see the diagram properly. So this internal part is middle wall, you can see. The bulging is promontory. On the bulging only there are different nerves are there, which are called the tympanic plexus. One of them is lateral petrosal nerve, which are going to leave it. It is coming from the floor side as the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve. Then the carotid plexus is also coming. Branches from internal carotid plexus are coming towards this particular part to make it complete tympanic plexus. Then you can see a window. There is oval window. Ever to the oval window, there is one prominence for facial canal. Ever to that prominence, there is the prominence for lateral semicircular canal. On the lower side, there is round window is present here. So this all characters are of the medial wall, or you can understand that labyrinth wall. So as I have already told you, if we consider this is a box, so we can open the box separately, we can name them, and we can understand the contents also. Like you can see, this is very nice diagram to understand the medial ear. So if you want to see the roof part, so you can see the number 6, that is temporal lobe of cerebellum is present on ever to superior wall or roof. On the inferior side, the relative organ is internal jugular vein and a foramen for opening for transfer of nerve. If you see the anterior wall, so there will be a canal for tensor tympani. This is a canal for tympani. Then opening of auditory tube, that is pharyngotympanic tube, and the organ which is near to it will be internal carotid artery. For the posterior wall, if you see, it will be having, it is incomplete as we have already talked. There is editus, that is number 12. Number 13, there will be the bulge for the facial canal here also, the pyramidal eminence for the stapes muscle, and there will be one opening for the quadra tympani entry point. On the lateral wall, it is only the tympanic membrane and the bony part of the above epitympanic recess cord. In the medial part, many things are present like promontory, number 1, number 2, oval window, number 3, round window, number 4, prominence for facial canal, and number 5, prominence for lateral semicircular canal. So it is very good idea to make a model like this. You can make a paper model or a matchbox model. You can open it, you can name it, walls, and you can write the number of contents, and with help of this diagram you can easily understand and remember all the contents related directly with the walls or the boundaries of medial ear. I want to tell you one more LS type of diagram. If you cut a LS part, longitudinal part, so what are the things which you are going to see? So above to it will be brain, especially the temporal part of brain. Then there will be meninges, pyometer, arachnoid, and durameter. Below to it, there will be roof of the middle ear, which is called the tegmen tympani. Then you are going to get the medial ear. But the most important thing which you have to consider is it is not equal diameter everywhere. On the roof side, it is 6 mm. In the middle part, it is most constricted, it is 2 mm. On the lower part, that is on the floor side, it is 4 mm. And after the floor boundary, you are going to get jugular vein. So you can keep this diagram in your mind that the diameter of medial ear is not equal in all the places. Now, if you're going to make the matchstick or matchbox model, you can open it and you can draw it like this. It's very tough to include all the names in the matchbox, so it's better you put the number and you can make a list of numbering separate. So here you can simply understand lateral wall, medial wall, anterior wall, and posterior wall can be easily demonstrated with the help of matchstick model. So just go through the slide again and again so that you get a better picture of your medial ear, especially the boundaries and the structures which are proximal to it and openings. In the next part, we will complete this medial ear topic. Okay, thank you.